Why are they so bad?
See, but I don't understand why you don't like you said Friday 3 you didn't like. I don't understand why you didn't like that one.
Well, okay, that goes to what we were saying before.
Right.
These are one of the movies that everybody thinks is so great. And,
right.
like, I just never, and it really kind of irks me. And one of the big reasons it irks me is that whenever you ask people why do you think Part 3 is the best, and they say because that's where he gets his mask,
right.
my blood boils, Mike.
Right. Oh, no, I know. And I agree with you. I don't like it because he got the mask in that one. I mean, sure, it's a moment, but it's literally a moment in the film. Okay, he walks onto the dock, wearing the mask, carrying the spear gun. Okay, and that is it's nice, but it's not the defining moment of the film or the franchise, for that matter. It's not. I mean, I liked it because the atmosphere was great. I think Richard Brooker did a great job as Jason. Not as good as I mean, I liked Friday 2. It's definitely one of my favorites. But I just think Richard Brooker captured a different essence of
Well,
Jason.
Here's the thing. A lot of people also say that's when the real Jason was born. Like, and he paved the way for what killers are going to look like and act like and this and that from Part 3. They say Part 2's Jason, that was not innovative. It was no different than The Town That Dreads Sundown. And they said, and that whole killer, the hillbilly wild guy in the woods thing, that died out in the 70s. And that was like, that didn't go nowhere. And like probably in the mid-'80s, at best early 80s, it was relevant. And then after that, it was just nothing. And the only Jason that matters is Part 3 and on, and he paved the way for what killers. Now, I have a question. What did he pave the way for anything? He didn't pave nothing.
He did.
The next killer to come out was Freddy Krueger. He was nothing like Jason. Michael Myers was more like Jason of Part 3 than Jason was of Part 2, which came after Halloween. So Michael paved the way for what a killer is going to be, not Jason. And he didn't transcend anything. In fact, he copied Michael. So I don't know where. And then Pinhead. So where we come with the Jason is the mold of future horror, of like putting your killer in a movie, and having a movie center around one killer and making sequels. Jason didn't do that either. I got news for you. There were like 5 Frankenstein movies. There were like 5 Wolfman movies. There were like 5 Dracula movies. The Mummy had 5 or 6 movies. The Invisible Man had 3. I mean, this is nothing new.
Right.
Not at all. Center a movie around a killer, yeah. So it just, I don't think it did that much, and it's just a mask. Michael had his mask first, so another one that you did not really do, Jason. Sorry. I mean, I love Jason, but it didn't do anything. It didn't change anything. It made gore and blood more popular and stuff like that, and you know what Jason did? No offense, I love Friday the 13th. Look, I run a message board called Crystal Lake After Dark, and that's what the show is named after. It's not like I'm against Jason or anything. But it just bothers me when people act like Part 3 and the mask is the reason for all this stuff.
Right.
If anything, I like Halloween 1 and I like Psycho more because they were the opposite of the Friday the 13th. They weren't line them up, knock them down.
Right. They
were, let's invest each other in these people's lives, and then we'll take the journey with them and be with them when they had a normal life. And this and that, and then see where their life is going and what's supposed to happen in their future, and all of a sudden it gets interrupted by this guy, and he completely puts the world upside down, and you're taking a journey with them, and you're on a wild ride that they might not survive, but you will survive it, and you're right at the edge of the, and it's like crazy, and you want to experience that without having to actually maybe die in real life.
Right. You're in their world looking in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Jason is the exact opposite of that. He took all that away. He took everything that's supposed to be great about horror and flushed it down the toilet and just said, well, you're not going to get invested in anybody. We're going to have a bunch of nobodies that are going to tell a few jokes and you'll think you relate to them, and they're going to dress a certain way and act cocky or nerdy or that, and then they're going to get knocked off like the other assholes before them.
Right.
And that is not what horror is really supposed to be about. You're supposed to be really scared. You're supposed to be suspense. You're supposed to really care when these people die.
Right.
That's the point. So, I'm sorry. Part 3 didn't do anything to benefit horror. And it just really bothers me. And then when you even break it down, there were a lot of reasons I think it wasn't that great. If you compare it to anything else, the characters, like the two potheads, were just two rip-offs of Cheech and Chong. The girl who was pregnant with Andy, what did they really bring to the movie? Vera and Shelley had their couple moments. They brought a couple experiences in there. And then maybe you relate to that situation because a lot of us are the nerdy guys who couldn't get the hot Spanish girl. And maybe, and maybe we can relate to that and we feel for him. And damn, first that and then he dies? Jesus, that sucks. But most of these other people, Chris was just like a self-centered girl who didn't care about nobody but herself. And she was so wrapped up in her own little world that she didn't really have any interest in anybody but herself. And how do you relate to that? And her boyfriend really didn't have much of a part to get into either.
Right.
I think we were more invested in the bikers who were going to burn down their barn. If any, we wanted to see where that was. We wanted to see where that was going to go. You know what I mean?
Right. Oh, I think you're 100% right.
Yeah. So I don't know. It just took away the investment. It took away everything, and I still think it's that great. And I think that Ted White did so much better than Richard Brooker. That's why I also think he's not so great either. And he's a dick. I met him and I interviewed him for our website, and he barely even gave answers. He acted like he was too cool for the room.
Yeah, see, that I don't like. That I don't like.
We interviewed really cool people. He's not one of them. So I don't know. I know I'm like rambling on and ranting and raving here, but look, I love the Friday 13th. Don't get it like that. It's just part 3 is just not for me.
Right.
I don't know. I'm sorry.
But no, it's fine. But I you know what? I guess the more I think about it, you're right in a sense, because if you're talking about investing yourself into a movie, then another reason why I like 4 through 6 a lot. Yeah, I mean not so much 5, maybe 4 and 6 more so, is because they involve Tommy Jarvis, and you really kind of invest yourself in with that character. And for me, he's what makes those movies enjoyable.
Yeah, you're right. You're exactly right. You get invested in Tommy.
Right. Which was kind of upsetting, after 6, that they kind of just dropped the character altogether. Yeah.
And
I mean,
7 is probably one of the worst movies ever. And listen, here's another reason we all get tricked. It's the worst movie, but guess what?
What's that?
Jason looks amazing.
Oh, the makeup was great in that one.
Yeah. So, again, we get tricked. Horrible movie, but something about Jason, you say, oh, part 7 rules. Horrible movie in part 3, probably the weakest entry of all of them, and Jason gets his mask, bam, we all get fooled. It's great.
Right.
That's it. I mean, except for the beautiful atmosphere, and that's only because it's an 80s movie, and by the way, the camera was very dirty. If you notice that?
In the third one?
Yeah, the film is very dirty.
You know what, dude? If you watch the third one on Blu-ray, and I know you have no interest in seeing the third on Blu-ray, but the print of that is very dirty. Very, very dirty.
And they probably relied on a 3D to make the movie work compared to the writing also, by the way.
Right.
Because it's not the first time that'd be done.